Hey there, so today we have another review. This is a Sierra Nevada Torpedo. Last time I had this, I think I want to had it up against High Life. I forgot the result on that, but in general, I want to say I like High Life more. But this went through a rebranding. You sort of see that kind of like a radar thing go with the Torpedo brand. Well, the Torpedo actually has nothing to do with that kind of like submarine theme or anything. It's really meant to talk about a device they actually had at the brewery that sort of I believe it just fits onto the fermenter and allows for circulation of beer with dry hops, or beer with hops during the dry hopping process. From what I understand. And then they call it extra IPA now, which is very confusing because you think it'd be like a double version of Torpedo, but it's still 7.2. I believe it's still just the same beer, but you know, people use words like, what does DDH mean? What does extra IPA mean? Extra IPA literally means nothing, but they threw the word extra in there. So I think shout out to Sierra Nevada for using the word extra, because extra IPA literally means nothing. But yeah, let's think of the beer. So this beer, again, we're talking about Sierra Nevada. They're caramel malt boys. I mean, that head is pretty dark for an IPA. Like it's got this like, I mean, not dark, but it's like a solidly light tan color. And then the beer is even darker than Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, or it's definitely hazier. This is actually a pretty hazy beer, which is pretty interesting. I did not expect it to be this kind of like blood orange, glowy, orangey kind of color. Definitely deep gold, leaning on amber, but probably around the same. Actually, might be around the same color SRM as the pale ale, but just the haziness makes it seem darker. So interesting how hazy this beer is. Just like the pale ale, Sierra Nevada Pale Ale I just reviewed. This is about 3 months old. So on the nose, yeah, man. This beer fridge gets a little cold, so actually it's actually pretty nice to have a gradient of temperature in my fridge. Like, you know, depending if I put it all the way in the back or a little bit in the front, you get a few degrees difference. So let's try to get that just a little bit more right. All right. Yeah. Familiar. Get a little bit of that crystal malt sweetness. I want to say this one's a little bit more toned down aromatically than the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, even though it's like about a week fresher. But yeah, a good amount of that kind of like a green hop character. I think I just might have this a little bit colder than the pale ale. But yeah, a little bit muted on the nose, huh? Cheers. Yeah, it's okay on the palate. It's fine. Again, we're talking about beer. This is a little bit past its prime. Yes, a little bit past its prime, but still tastes good to okay. Okay to good. Let's say okay to good. I wouldn't say it's very good. It's okay to good. So first thing you notice about this beer is that it's solidly way more bitter than a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. This is a full bitter beer. It's actually quite bitter of a beer. For standard American IPA, this might be one of the more bitter IPAs you're going to find. I'm thinking of like Main Lunch and this, just solidly bitter. Hits like a quarter, third of the palate and just rises all the way through. Lingers on the palate, bitter. So if you don't like bitter, you're not going to like this guy. Nice thing about this beer, it's a little bit fruitier. I get more like orange peel essence. Orange peel, orange oils, that kind of orange twist. So you get an old-fashioned, grapefruit, more zestiness, more pithiness. So it has more bitterness to it, but also more fruitiness. Solid, earthy, lingering pine, resiny flavor on the back end. Follows on the palate with a little bit of that crystal malt character. That toasty bready thing going on. Interesting. This one also has a little bit nice pop of this kind of floral and also just like green, lingering kind of hop character that the pale ale had. So just, you know, same vein of beer, vein of beer directly threading the pale ale into the Torpedo. They're definitely obviously different recipes. I believe there are different hops in here as well, but I suspect both have Cascade/Centennial. They also like using like Crystal, Magnum, I think, hops like those. But those are more bittering hops. Yeah, it's nice. It has despite that really strong lingering bitterness, if you're used to it, you're going to be okay because you get a really nice kind of like crystal malt character up front. If you're a pale ale fan, you're going to like this as well. Do I like this more than the pale ale? Let me think. So for repeatability, I would definitely go for the pale ale, right? This beer is just so bitter. It's like shockingly bitter. But I also suspect I would like this beer a lot more fresher, more aromatics, more like fresh hop character up front. What's up? Oh, mommy went on vacation, so dad's on dad duty, so doing her some reviews as well. I know. We're gonna get her back in a few days. Let me think. You know what? There is just like a little bit. I mean, it makes sense. It's a solid IPA. We're talking about a beer that's almost 2 ABV points higher. It's like 1.5 higher. It just has more hoppy character. I like that. It's more fruity. Again, I think the bitterness would just be a little bit more balanced. To just have more fresh hop character to it because the bitterness is strong. I'm like, I feel like after this beer, I'm definitely gonna want to switch beers. After this beer, I'm not gonna go like give me more of this beer. It's just like, whew, it's a little bit exhaustingly bitter, which is then again good for palate reset. If you guys are stuck drinking hazy IPAs, crack a few of these guys. See how you feel after that. And you're really gonna get triggered with because like that's the one thing we do when we get into craft beers. Like, all right, IPAs, bitterness, bang, learn that. And then obviously hazy IPAs came. Well, I guess my arc. Hazy IPAs came in the world. We lost bitterness. Everything's soft. Everything's like juicy. Blah 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 blah. And then we sort of like come back to beers like this, right? But this beer still comes off as bitter to me. Very bitter. If I'm gonna drink hoppy, I'm gonna stick to what I said in the pale ale review. I prefer this. Granted, the pale ale is definitely more repeatable, but I like this more. 96 out of 100. Fresher, probably even better. Until next time, guys. Cheers later.